Hey you guys, it is your girl AP and welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've sat down to record any YouTube content here or on Beauty with AP. And there's so many reasons why they are probably not as complicated as they feel. But y'all know me if you've been following me for a while now, whether on my socials or over here or my blog. But transparency is what I do, and that's what I plan to give you. And I felt like it was appropriate to kind of talk about this because it is Autism Awareness Month, and a lot of what's going on is directly related to me being autistic. So buckle up, let's take a ride, and let's chat about where I've been and what's going on. So my autism, I won't say was a secret. It's just something that I never really disclosed because it wasn't until more recently in life that I realized I had like a light bulb moment where I realized that my autism had such a great effect on every facet of my life, including my relationships with friends, family, and people I dated. And through my journey with my children, I learned about myself even more. And so about a year or so ago, I kind of like dropped it on Instagram that, I was a late diagnosed autistic. I got my diagnosis when I was 26. I'm currently 39. So it's been some time since I was diagnosed, and a lot has changed. Mostly, my children's own diagnoses kind of made me take a step back because I started to really, really see so many pieces of me within my children. And it started triggering memories, and it started triggering emotions within me that made me realize, okay, it's time to take it seriously. To be fair, I was 26, and I was having like the meltdown of a lifetime. And my therapist at the time, she is the one who diagnosed me, and she was just kind of like, has nobody ever told you were autistic? And I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? No. Because at the time, autism was like you had to be nonverbal and flap your hands and rock back and forth, and that's what made a person autistic. I knew so little about autism. And then eventually I ended up working at an autism center for early intervention while I was still living in Philadelphia. And through that process, I started to learn more about the spectrum and the comorbidities of ADHD, and at the time ADD, although that's been wiped out because they realized ADHD and ADD are not separate. They're one and the same, and it was often that girls got diagnosed with ADD more than ADHD. Long story. That's not the point. But through my work there, and then probably 27, 28, 29, 27, about 5 years later, when I was having my youngest baby, my middle child was exhibiting signs of so many different things, and I was starting to see it, and he got diagnosed. And he is considered high functioning, though the autistic community at large does not like that terminology. It doesn't bother me one way or another. I understand why people are offended by low functioning, high functioning labels, so I do try to respect that. What used to be known as Asperger's is now considered level 1 autism, and that is what myself and both my middle and my youngest child were diagnosed with, level 1 autism and ADHD. It has been quite challenging to identify the differences between what is me dealing with my autism versus me dealing with burnout versus me dealing with depression versus this just being a personality trait and having nothing to do with autism at all. Like, learning how to decipher what things are what is particularly challenging because I've kind of been the same my entire life, right? I didn't really start taking seriously my diagnosis until I was in my 30s. And I am finding challenge right now, and feeling like I am not centered. I'm someone who thrives on structure. And I have felt like my life has been chaos since I went back to work full time in 2022. And then changing jobs in 2023 to a different job, different location, different arena for me, in a law firm, but different type of legal work. I have felt off kilter, not myself, all over the place. There have been changes in commutes, pickups, drop-offs, all sorts of things, and I'm feeling like I don't have the stability, structure, or consistency that I thrive on. And because I know that my flavor of autism definitely includes ritual, like I don't do well with change, I am having a really, really hard time adjusting to change. And while I understand giving myself grace, I know this is stuff that has been said to me by therapists, parents, friends, family alike. I am struggling to find the space to give myself grace because I am not where I want to be. And it has me feeling like I'm spiraling. My inability to find my center has impacted my ability to find time to create beauty content, which I absolutely love and adore doing. I find a sense of peace. I would say I probably hyper-focused on that for a while, especially while I was out on disability because of the physical things I was going through from 2019 to 2021. So I closed APY Beauty. We talked about that here, my cosmetics line. I stopped really doing like fashion content full time because I just don't have the space and the time for it. But I also stopped blogging. But writing has always been my passion. So to let writing go has been something that has been irking my soul in such a serious way. And I realized, I started having conversations with my husband, and I'm like, I have to find my center or I'm going to lose it. And when AP loses it, it is not a good thing because I've lost it before and have been in the psych ward behind my losing it. So I have enough insight to know, like, you can't get to that point. So I'm trying to keep the lines of communication open with my husband and my therapist. And I'm trying to make small incremental changes to allow myself the space back to creativity while still maintaining my other obligations, my spiritual ones, my financial ones, working, and my duties as a wife, as a mother, and an employee. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And in the meantime, trying to also manage my health, which I haven't been to my bariatric doctor. I'm overdue, and I've been scared because I feel like I'm doing my best, but I'm also struggling with that as well. So maybe not necessarily like eating as much protein as I need to. Definitely have had days where I have forgotten to take my vitamins. So I'm afraid of lab work because I don't want to see the look of disappointment on anybody's face. So I'm trying to pull it together enough before I make an appointment so that I'm not with egg on my face. But it has been incredibly challenging right now. To top it off, having two kids who are on the spectrum, both who present in very different ways. So my 15-year-old who will be 16 in July and my 7-year-old who will be 8 in July are two different flavors of autism. While they have overlapping traits, as most of us can and have the propensity to, they're still totally different personalities. Like one child, the older child, is non-touch, is not physical contact type of person. My youngest is. While my oldest is on the more antisocial, just needs a sense of small community, doesn't desire to have as much community interaction. My youngest is the exact opposite. He struggles with knowing how to keep personal space because he's a touchy-feely kid. And desiring that social interaction even if he doesn't understand the social interaction. And not knowing that certain behaviors are inappropriate. What he says is inappropriate. My older child has a better grasp on that than my younger one. So it's just it's a lot of different moving parts, but they're 8 years apart, and there's the youngest adores my oldest child, but he gets on my older son's nerves. And so it's a lot of friction between them and me trying to get my oldest child to like, and me and my husband trying to get him to understand, like, you were not as, I don't want to say bad because it's not bad. He can't control it, but you were not as intense as your little brother was when you were his age, but you guys had, some of this stuff just comes with maturation, right? So trying to get them to have a functional relationship while also trying to get them both to learn responsibility around organization and cleaning their rooms, and that's where the ADHD comes in. And then learning that both of them probably have delayed processing disorder, which is a whole another conversation and facet of ADHD and autism. Like, it's so much to juggle. And unless you are an autistic person and or parent or caregiver, some of this probably sounds really foreign to you guys. But if you know, you know. Not in the J-Lo way either. So yeah, I am teeter-tottering on, like, I haven't even been maintaining a consistent workout schedule, and I was really good about that. So to be in that space where I'm not even doing that consistently on a regular schedule, like some days I do it in the morning, some days I do it in the evening, I'm not a person who does well with being all over the place. And coupled with the fact that I'm not necessarily having the energy, because by the time I come home, I'm worn out and I'm trying to take care of all my other responsibilities. And then sometimes I'm going to bed later than what I would like to, so I'm not getting enough sleep, and then I'm not getting up in the morning to work out. It's like a vicious little cycle, okay? And the control freak in me is having an internal breakdown and also an internal dialogue that is really wearing me out. I do, and I am able to vent to my husband. He is, y'all know, if y'all not new here, he is beyond supportive in ways that I find amazing sometimes. But there's limits, he's a great listener, but there's limits to how much he can actually help me with, because at the end of the day, ultimately, this is me. And I am struggling with things that he can't fix. And the onus is not on him to fix it. So I am feeling overwhelmed. That's probably an understatement, but it's the reality of what I'm feeling. So as I'm trying to get myself back into a space where I can blog again, I'm trying to set a schedule for myself for content creation. I literally just filmed this makeup look on my Beauty with AP, so that'll be coming out by the end of this week. So guys, please support that page. I'll drop it here and link it down below. And trying to gear up to launch the reopening of APY Beauty in September, October, and maintain my full-time job as a litigation paralegal, which is a lot more challenging than my previous job. It's just been a lot going on, and your girl just feels out of sorts. So it's made it really hard to come here and sit down and talk, because I don't want to be the person who every time I sit in front of the camera and the mic, like, I don't have anything positive to say. But I think it's also important that I be raw and transparent. I think the last video I did here, I was talking about depression, that I was dealing with seasonal affective disorder. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But I don't know. I just felt like, because I'm trying to get in that space of creating content more regularly, I needed to come here and sit down and talk with you guys and engage with you guys, because a lot of you guys have been here for the health and wellness journey, the chronic illness, the bariatric surgery, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging on that stuff. So I figured, let me just give you guys a synopsis of what's going on, and what better time during Autism Awareness Month as an autistic person. So if you didn't know, surprise! And if you did know, I hope, some of the things I've explained today make more sense to you guys. I will try to be more open about my autistic journey, and explaining the ways that it impacted my life before diagnosis, before I knew what it was, versus now knowing, and how that's pivoted the way I deal with things. I did share a couple of videos on TikTok and on Instagram, some stitches I did with a couple of different autistic people, just kind of sharing bits and pieces of that journey for myself. But yeah, it's been a wild time for me. Good things though. I went to Vegas in February with hubby and another couple of couples who are friends of ours. We had a fantastic time. We just went to Panama City Beach during spring break. We took the boys. Fantastic time. Coming up is my very first cruise and my first time out of the country. Don't judge me. There's a story with that, but it's coming up in June in honor of my hubby and I's 15-year wedding anniversary. So I'm very, very excited about that. Our anniversary is May 30th, but our cruise isn't until June 27th. But we'll be going to Cozumel, Mexico. So I'm really excited. There are good things happening. There are absolutely good things happening, as much as there are negative things happening as well. But the biggest takeaway is I know a lot of this is me not knowing how to appropriately respond to outside environmental factors. So as I try to get it together, I promise y'all I will continue to try to come here to be consistent. I said on my APY Beauty with AP page, I was going to try to drop a video once a month. I think I will do the same over here, because if I could just do it all in one shot like I did today, I recorded the beauty tutorial, then hopped on here to record this video. I think that's the method that's going to work best for me. So yeah, now that I've yammered on about, I'm not going to hold you guys. I don't really have any updates on the bariatric stuff. We're kind of, I think the last video I shared with y'all was after my plastic surgery consult. I was planning on doing surgery, I think initially in July, but with travel and all that stuff, I've decided to postpone it until the end of the year so that I can heal up during the winter months, and not during the summer months, and that can pop out like a pow next year during the warmer months. But yeah, other than that, there hasn't been any updates because I haven't had an appointment recently. When I have lab work back, I will definitely share that with y'all. And somebody actually posted a comment on one of my other videos about vitamin regimen, so I may drop another video. I'll try to do that about my new vitamin regimen and what that's been like since my labs have been bad. In the I think the video I did on my initial labs was when I was not getting a good response. So yeah, there's some things coming up, but I just wanted to come here and just chat a little bit about that and trying to stay consistent. And hopefully I can do that. I won't make any promises, but yeah, that's the goal. So if you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for letting me chat and for being willing to listen. And, I'll be back. After this, I'm going to go meal prep for the week, and I'm going to try to blog an article. So I'll let you guys know how that works out next video. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to everything. Follow me on all my platforms. And, a comment, a share, engagement. It's all helpful. I appreciate it all. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.